Shout out to the chess club.
And sheltered with mama's pretty stories and your own made up fury. And mama gave me a magic clicker. Well, yes, I think it's true and fair to say. Come on in and listen. Lost words you've been missing. Now the fire you're bearing, the eye of the darkness, your light. You were drawn to stories early on. My dreams would light up my imagination, and you had nightmares night and day. Yeah, but with the clicker I chased those frights away. Ooh, you, so true. So here is the clue of hope to remember. Visions, they come true. Bend the light switch to. Of crime and chilling thrillers of hard-boiled killers became bestsellers. It was all too much, I had to get away. The story's the end, all a piece of true fiction. They mean endless in the face of creation. There is more to it than meets the eye. I never meant for it to ruin my life that way. Would you say you lived a jaded lie? Dark shades could never save the day. So sad, but true. Fun in the nightmares.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad to have you. Are you glad to be here? I'm glad to be here. What a joyous day. What a joyous day. There we go. There we go. Get some quiet beats going underneath. Let's see if the chat's worked. Sort of. Sort of. Please hold. Please hold. Let me get the YouTube chat up. Just a second. Just a second. Copy. Copy. It won't let me copy. Let me try doing it this way. Copy. The Twitch policy for co-streaming is that I cannot have merged chats, but they do not say that I can't have both chats separate. So, loophole. Jump straight in. Now we can see your lovely messages. There you go. Where's the skull from? Oh, that's Grandma. Yeah, I like to keep her close. How's everybody else doing? Everybody rocking and rolling? What chair I have? Oh, it's the Aeron. The Herman Miller Aeron. Very, very good. Good morning / day, Luke. How much and much love to the Stevens family. Hope Nikki and the little ones are well. Oh yeah, always. Let's see. Luke, I was recently watching Laser's AC Odyssey stream, and he talks about your Odyssey review in his stream, The Fate of Atlantis, Episode 3, Judgment of Atlantis, Part 1 at 1:54:52. Oh, really? Is it entertaining? Or is he just like, that dumbass? I don't know. Lasers... AC Odyssey, Atlantis. Is this an old thing? Oh, from 4 years ago? Is that the one you're talking about? I don't know. Yeah, Bat, everything's good now. We're rocking and rolling. Favorite game of all time? I mean, honestly, I go back and forth between like The Witcher 3 and Red Dead and AC2. Like, it really just depends on my mood. What sounds good at the time. But yeah, those are all fantastic games. Thank you for the great content. Thank you for being here. Otherwise, I'd just be so bored. I'd just be sitting around. Jesus won't save you. Yo, what's up? Randalorian. I don't know, it's from 4 years ago. I feel bad going all the way back to nitpick it. I don't even really remember everything I said in my review 4 years ago. I'll be real. Will there be free roam? Yes, there will be a free roam in 3 hours. So it's 10 where I am right now. At 1, Joel Raptor will be joining. I think what we'll do is like normal. We'll probably hop off here maybe 10 minutes before that. We'll create a separate event for the podcast, and then the podcast will happen. And so everybody gets a potty break. Are your streams more profitable now with Twitch? Certainly more so. I wasn't expecting like anybody from Twitch to be hanging. But like in the couple of weeks we've been co-streaming on Twitch, like 100 new subs over there. We've got tips and bits and all sorts of stuff coming in from Twitch. And, you know, it's been really cool. A lot of people I haven't seen in a long time have been popping in on the Twitch side of things. So it's been good. I think more than anything, the thing that's been really, really helpful has been the short form content taken off, like the TikToks, YouTube shorts. Those have helped us grow a lot. So I think that has had more to do with the growth of the stream, because now after like an hour, we're averaging between 700 and 900 people across all platforms, which is crazy. What's good? What's good? What's good? Oh yeah, Bethesda in the comments thing. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Try not to hack up along while we do that, but yeah, let's touch on this. So, if you did not hear, Bethesda customer support has been doing something deliciously awkward and cringe, which is sort of a specialty of theirs. Basically, I mean, we all know Starfield released on Steam, and it's been having troubles. It's now, I believe, mixed reviews. If you look up Starfield Steam, it's crossed from positive to mixed. And yeah, if we go here, you can see most of it is just tied up in performance. I mean, performance, and then also the exploration that is just not anywhere near as high quality as past Bethesda games. And I said this in my review at the time that the game launched, where like the things that Bethesda is best at, which are these hand designed environments that are meant to kind of tell stories passively just through the environment that's been crafted, that is entirely abandoned in Starfield for sake of these like procedurally generated spaces with copy and pasted locations. It just doesn't work anywhere near as well. It was a cool, ambitious experiment, but I think Starfield, as it comes together, just doesn't work the way they wanted it to. Not to say that you can't have fun with it. I think you absolutely can. And in a lot of ways, I think Starfield's really impressive. But in a lot of ways, I think huge chunks of it just don't work the way that they were supposed to. And I mean, these reviews reflect it. These are not bot reviews. These are not reviews of people mass downvoting the game because they hate it. These are people with 91 hours, 62 hours, 977, Jesus, 39, 20 hours, 59 hours, 13, 75 hours, 28 hours, 47, 29.8. Like a lot of the negative reviews that we're looking at, and of course there's 124,000 reviews to sift through, but a lot of these are not like, I played it for 5 minutes, then returned it. It sucks. These are not like PlayStation fanboys mass downvoting it because they want to. This is people that have played the game and simply found it lacking. Okay. Now, most developers would look at that and be like, okay, how can we take this feedback and grow from it? How can we expand upon this, right? Well, this is not necessarily entirely the devs' fault, okay? But there are some devs that are doing this. It's also partially members of their community team. Juicehead tweeted out this, and he captured a bunch of these reviews, which apparently you can like, yeah, a developer has responded. So you can view the response and you can see that a member of Bethesda community support actually responded. So let's read this review, at least a little bit of it, and then see what the developer responded with, okay? It's already really weird for the developer to respond to reviews. Typically, if they do, it's responding to like a bug where the review is negative because they had some crazy bug that they describe in the review, and then the developer says, oh, we fixed that, update your drivers and you'll have a great time. Thanks for playing. Whatever. Like, that's normal. That's not what this is. Okay, spoiler alert. The review says, again, this is after 29 hours at the time of the review, okay? It says, quote, a game about space in which your ship is nothing more than set dressing for storage containers and an optional, extremely simplistic arcade-style minigame where you fly your ship in a line while holding the trigger long enough for every AI to blow themselves up by flying directly into your path. I mean, I agree the ship is basically an illusion. It's not actually a spaceship in Starfield. You can't really fly it in any meaningful sense other than in these like space dogfights, which are pretty clunky. The fact that they give you planets to explore and you can't fly your ship around the planet is insane to me. And I still don't know why so many people are like, no, it's fine, whatever. I think finally people are waking up to it. But I was saying this before the game launched, that it didn't make any damn sense that they were doing this. And people called me a hater and that I was like a Sony pony for saying this didn't make sense. But I've been saying this, as you guys know, for like a year since they started revealing details about Starfield. And I feel like finally people are kind of starting to see that it doesn't work properly. It just doesn't make sense. A space game where you can't really fly your ship around planets they give you to explore. Anyway, a game about exploration that delivers the thrill of opening your menu, selecting the fast travel option, clicking to fast travel to a star system, loading, then opening your menu, clicking to fast travel to a planet, loading, then answering the same NPC dialogue at every planet before you're treated to another loading screen to finally land on a planet. True. An immersive RPG in which every door in every colony is a loading screen, and firing an infinite stream of bullets around citizens' heads in the middle of the city is apparently just another Tuesday in America for the new Atlanteans, as they, completely unbothered by the frag grenades going off all around them, continue to partake in every colonist's favorite activity, walking aimlessly into walls. A game which offers swashbuckling adventures in which successfully stealing a ship is as easy as killing 5 brainless NPCs. The payoff is possibly the most accurate GameStop trade-in simulator ever made. It costs $20K to register the ship. The ship only sells for $22K, and once you've collected your pittance, you'll see the exact same ship on the market with an asking price of $500K from the guy that gave you $2K for it. A game bursting with content in which each outpost and mission are functionally the same as the first 10 you play, and you'll be asked to do them all 100 plus times with almost zero variation. Honestly, after the first 20 hours, Starfield practically begs you to save yourself 120 gigabytes of storage space and forget it exists. A gripping storyline in which every character is as exciting as the bread aisle in the grocery store, and none of your choices matter. Seriously, exactly which brand of white bread you take home with you from the grocery store has more serious consequences than literally any decision Starfield asks the player to make. White or wheat is a more thrilling dilemma than anything in Starfield's narrative. A groundbreaking new IP that tries its hardest to be exactly like its sister IPs while utterly failing to deliver a fraction of their charm or greatness. This is easily the most disappointing Bethesda title ever made, including The Elder Scrolls Blades, because at least no one cared about, wanted, or had any expectations for a mobile title. It genuinely feels like at some point in development, the list of good ideas for Starfield and bad ideas for Starfield got swapped, and they made the worst possible version of Starfield that could be made. The absolute best that can be said of the title is that it really is one of the games of all time. Pretty savage, I will say. Pretty savage. So, they didn't like the game. They played it, didn't like the game. After 20 hours, they were burnt out. Hi, dude. Do you want to say hi? Hold on, quick break. Lachlan wanted to say hi. Can you say hi, everybody?
Hi, everybody.
I've been working on those invitations for my sister's baby shower.
Yeah.
I couldn't find them. I thought maybe you picked them up so the baby wouldn't play with them.
No.
I found them covered in peanut butter.
Oh. So Lachlan went and grabbed some important invitations for a baby shower, and apparently with his peanut butter crackers had peanut butter, and now the peanut butter is on the invitations. Oh, he put them in the trash. He got peanut butter on them and then realized they were dirty and I guess threw them away. That's not funny at all. Can they be salvaged?
I hope so.
I bet they can.
I really hope nobody's allergic to peanut butter.
Tyler.
Yeah, you saying hi to everybody?
Hi, buddy.
This guy's a player, I'll tell you what. Do you see yourself on camera?
I took a moment to go pee in silence by myself, and he opened the door and said, "I found you. You scared me. Why you run away from me?"
That's funny. Can you say 16 times the detail?
Yep.
Can you say proud skeptic? Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Alright, and give Daddy a kiss. We'll go bye-bye.
You gonna go bye-bye? Go shopping, probably get a coffee.
Maybe 5.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, everybody. Okay, be nice to your mother, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Do you mean it?
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Awesome.
Come on, monkey.
Bye. I'll see you later, buddy, okay?
Bye, Dad.
See you later. He's like, that kid on the screen is cute. Yeah. Okay. Much love. Stay strong. Stay strong. Oh, man. Okay. Excuse me. Anyway. So where were we? Okay. So normally, if a developer sees a review like this and they just didn't like it, okay, like, bummer. Hopefully they like it next time. What are you gonna do? Like, oh well. That's not what Bethesda's, I guess, community support team wanted to do. I don't know what they were thinking. But Bethesda Falco Yamaoka, I'm not sure, who is tagged as a developer for the game, a member of the Bethesda community support team. Bear in mind, this is the same team that was doing the stuff back with Fallout 76, where, like, if somebody had their account banned because they were suspected of cheating, Bethesda asked them to write a 500-word essay on why cheating in an online game is bad, and then they might get their account back. Like, that's this same team, okay? So they replied to this review and said, "Thank you for taking the time to provide your review, and we are sorry to hear that you were disappointed with encountering many load screens while playing." Does this not sound like ChatGPT already? While there may be loading screens in between fast traveling, just consider the amount of data for the expansive gameplay that is procedurally generated to load flawlessly in under 3 seconds. We believe that shortcoming will not hinder our players from getting lost in the world we created. Starfield is an RPG with hundreds of hours of quests to complete and characters to meet. Most quests will also vary on your character's skills and decisions, massively changing the outcome of your playthrough. Try creating different characters with backgrounds and characteristics that clash or are oppositive. A positive, that's new, of your previous character. You will feel like you are playing a totally different game. Put points in different skills from a character you've previously created, and you are now faced with completely different decisions to make and difficulties to encounter. There are so many layers to Starfield that you will find things you've never knew were possible. After playing for hundreds of hours. Even after completing the main story, your adventure doesn't end. You can continue on to New Game Plus to keep exploring Starfield and all that is out there. Never stop exploring. It's like, is that not a little weird? See what I mean? Like, people are starting to be like, did they use AI? Like, it's, I don't know. The misspelling is weird. I don't think ChatGPT would make a grammar mistake like that, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe. Yokes, by the way, shout out to Yokes for resubbing with Prime and just hit 24 months over on Twitch. That's crazy. Thank you, my friend. That's wild. 24 months. Oh baby. Oh baby. So really, really weird. But this is not the only one. Okay, this is not the only one. If we go back, okay, developers have responded to this review too. This one, really straightforward. Played for 75 hours because I needed the dopamine fix. Looking back, it's a boring story in a boring world. Also, I cannot get over the one mission I thought would be awesome. Finding a ship launched from Earth 200 years earlier with the offspring of the original crew finally finding humanity. And they have the same computers with the same operating system on their ship as the rest of the universe. Why? Yeah, that's pretty stupid. They reply again. We appreciate you taking the time to provide your review, and sorry to hear that you did not enjoy your time in Starfield. If you feel that things are getting boring, there's so much more to do than just the main mission. There are so many side missions where you can learn about the people and the story of Starfield. You can take time to explore various planets and resources and items, break the law by smuggling and selling contraband, build your own outposts and ships and customize them to your enjoyment. There are many things to do, and you can visit our Discord for further ideas from other players. Starfield is an RPG. Like, again, it feels very AI. Like they gave ChatGPT a link to a list of features of Starfield and said, can you reply to this negative comment using these features? It feels like that, does it not? Literal ChatGPT tier level of a response. Yeah, it feels very AI generated. It doesn't feel human at all. It's very, very weird. This other one, same thing. Also, these are very wordy responses, which kind of, for me, verifies that this is probably AI, because to type out something like this and respond to like dozens of reviews is really, really time consuming. And like, do they seriously have nothing better to do with their time as customer service agents than doing this? Like, how does this make any sense at all? Same kind of thing. I mean, we understand your frustration with fast travel making the universe feel much smaller. Given the immense size of Starfield, we felt it made more sense to be able to use your grav drive to jump to other solar systems. The option to fly freely among planets is still there. You can travel from one planet to another and land without needing to open your map if you use your scanner. However, for an expedition like solar system traversal, jumping is necessary. Remember that fast travel also has its perks, but you can do so quickly when trying to complete quests, and will always be given a visual of your ship launching and landing, thus being able to appreciate all the little details to make your customized ship look unique, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's again, the same kind of thing. It's just really, really weird that they would do this. And like months after launch too is even weirder. 2 months after launch, it's like, what, if you were really this worried and self-conscious about the reception of the game, why are you just now doing this? It's really, really odd. And, you know, I've butted heads with Juicehead a couple times in the past because of some stuff he was saying about like CDPR and financial markets. I just get personally, honestly, triggered when people in like public facing positions give out like misinformation as it relates to financial markets and stuff, because people have money on the line, and I think it's really irresponsible. If you don't know what you're talking about, that's okay. Just don't pretend like you do. So I've butted heads with Juicehead a couple times before, but I still will insist. I think the guy is very, very sharp, and I will give him credit. He has come around to I would say, acknowledge the evident problems with Starfield, and even much to the chagrin of his own community, some of his own viewers and fans are very upset with him that he's not still hyping the game up. But he tweeted out all this stuff and just points out that, yeah, I mean, a bunch of these comments are just really, really weird. Like it's just excusing away things players didn't like. And if you're a developer, okay, like you don't have to love the game. Like that's okay. If the developers are standing behind their design decision, cool, awesome, I can respect it. I disagree. I think the constant load screens are a problem, but at least somebody can stand behind it. But perhaps the most insane one was this one tweeted out by Ultima. We are sorry that you do not like landing on different planets and are finding many of them empty. Basically, this was in response to a review that was like, I land on all these like 1,000 different planets, but they're all basically the same thing. They have like a few rocks that are copy and pasted procedurally all over the place, and then maybe a cave that's the same cave I've seen 1,000 times, and pretty much all the planets, while they are big, boring, and empty, and there's not much interesting, begging the question, why are they there? Like, if this is a video game that's meant to be fun, why did they put all this stuff in here? This response is glorious. We are sorry that you do not like landing on different planets and are finding many of them empty. Some of Starfield's planets are meant to be empty by design, but that's not boring. I don't think that necessarily follows. We meant to do it, therefore it's not boring. It's not how that works, my friend. That's not how it works. You could have meant to do it, and it still be very boring. I would argue that's precisely what happened. Quote, when, I don't know who they're quoting, but they say, quote, when the astronauts went to the moon, there was nothing there. They certainly weren't bored. Because they were on the freaking moon. Like, what? They're like, oh, yeah, oh, so you don't like Starfield because some of the planets are empty and boring. Well, astronauts went onto the moon and they weren't bored, so checkmate, dumbass. Like, what? What? This is like next level brain dead. I can't even, I'm baffled by this. It's just amazing. The intention of Starfield's exploration is to evoke a feeling of smallness in players and make you feel overwhelmed. Certainly does make me feel some things. You can continue to explore and find worlds that do have resources you need or hidden outposts to look through. Here's the dealio. Okay, there's a lot of moving parts to this. On the one hand, like there's hard sci-fi and soft sci-fi, or like hard simulation games and video games. Like if you're designing something to be fun, you are not going to necessarily design it to be the most realistic thing. Even a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, which we all know and love, has limitations to its realism. Things like needing to urinate or to go and eat at regular intervals and needing to like make sure that players are not twisting their ankles when hopping off their horses and stuff. That stuff is not in the game because that wouldn't be fun. That would be a step too far into the realism space. So they shed that burden of realism for the sake of making it more fun and more enjoyable to play the game. And that's awesome. Like, I think that was the right choice because at the end of the day, these are video games. If your game is, say, trying to be a space sim, more like a Star Citizen, okay, that's different. You don't have to make everything as fun because it's a simulation game. But if you're trying to make a video game, a game that's prioritizing fun and enjoyment over realistic simulations, you can't design it like a sim, right? And this is why Starfield is so weird, because parts of it are designed very much like a simulator game, like the big 1,000 planet list of places to go to. But then other parts of it are designed like a video game, like the constant fast traveling, the very small areas for you to explore that are much more finely catered and stuff. And it just can't seem to make up its mind as to what it wants to be. And with all of this, like, yes, Bethesda has the right to make the game as crazy elaborate as they want to, with 1,000 planets to explore in 100 different systems. And then they can also give you access to tons of places to land on each of those planets. But at the end of the day, if it's not fun, it just doesn't really matter, because the game is not a simulation game. It is supposedly an adventure RPG. That's what it's supposed to be, a Bethesda sandbox adventure game. And it's just not good at either sides of the equation. And so to be like, we're sorry you didn't like landing on the planets and they were boring, but we meant for them to be boring because that's what planets are actually like when you're out in space. After all, the astronauts didn't mind. Okay. Like, yeah, we're not astronauts, okay? Yes, if I were to actually travel to another planet on an actual spaceship, I'm sure I wouldn't be very bored. But we're talking about a video game right now. And a video game requires certain levels of interactivity. They require certain things to maintain engagement that Starfield just frankly fails at. I've done all those videos on like the 40-second rule of open world games, where open world games every 40 seconds roughly tend to have something that pulls your attention away to keep you mentally engaged. Some games can do it a little bit longer if they're going for a more realistic flavor. Like Red Dead is more like 80 seconds between points of interest or moments of interest. Whereas like Skyrim, Fallout New Vegas, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, they're all closer to 40 seconds, The Witcher 3 as well. And that's just, for whatever reason, our brains like that 40-second timing. 80 seconds for a lot of people is too long, which is why a lot of people think that Red Dead is boring, but that's why personal preference comes into it. But 40 seconds seems to be the sweet spot. And this is not even controversial. This is well known in game design. If you go to school for game design, this is openly discussed. And with Starfield, it's like multiple minutes. Like if you're on a planet that you landed on and you look off in the distance, you see a point of interest and then you run to it. And because there's no vehicles in the game, you're running for 3, 4, 5 minutes to get to it. And then you arrive. And then after you take care of that, you look off, see another point of interest, and then 3, 4 minutes running to that. Like it is bafflingly boring. Simply because of how they designed it and arranged it. And I think they should have known well in advance that this is how it would play out and that players wouldn't connect with it the way they did. But frankly, at the end of the day, I think the story of Starfield is just that it's a game that's too ambitious and that was built on these like marketable ideas, like 1,000 planets in 100 systems. And that's it. They should have asked themselves, is this actually going to make for a fun game? But instead they didn't do that. Instead, they just kind of decided to push through. And I think it was a mistake. And this is why you're seeing it. Real quick, shout out to Sean for gifting 5 memberships on YouTube. Shout out to Sean. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Big ol' sneeze. Oh, I felt that coming a mile away. I'm really glad that the community is coming around and is starting to see that this stuff is a little outrageous, but man, it's bad. We also dropped a butt ton of frames. I don't know why. Due to the network. Seems like it's okay now. Probably happened while I was rambling. Jacob, just so you know, if that happens again, and you're trying to clip like stream clips and stuff with it, I have a separate backup, so just let me know if you need to download that. If the YouTube VOD is too delayed or clogged up, just let me know. But we do have a separate backup that hopefully will work. Anyway, so with all of this, it's just, yeah, Bethesda's lost the plot. It kind of feels like that. With all of this, I just think that again, Starfield is a really cool concept that Bethesda's just, they don't have the technology to pull off. And very few developers, I think, have the technology to pull it off, to be clear. There's a reason everybody was like, this is very, very ambitious. But it's because you can't just make 1,000 planets interesting. You just can't. And then I think specifically coming from Bethesda, it was a blunder because Bethesda Game Studios is known for environmental storytelling and carefully crafted environments and stuff that really gives their worlds and games a certain flavor. And they just decided to ignore their strengths and double down on things that they weren't very good at, which is what makes it really, really strange. Really, really strange. Because it in some ways you see hints of Bethesda's design like philosophies within Starfield. You see it occasionally in certain locations that are copy and pasted around. You might see it in like the main story a few times. But when you're out exploring, the magic of Bethesda games is completely absent because it was all built around this procedural generation stuff, and it just doesn't work. It's not what they're good at. Like what they're good at, they seemingly abandoned, and it's so strange to me. It's really, really odd. So we'll see if they figure it out for the next game. But this is why when I did that survey and I asked you guys, if you were more or less excited for the Elder Scrolls 6 after playing Starfield. Something insane like 45% of you said that you were less excited, which is a huge problem for Bethesda. Huge problem. Like Starfield, I think, did more damage to Bethesda's reputation among their fans than anybody saw coming. I think even I was expecting probably the average consumer would probably play Starfield and find it a little wah-wah, but I was not expecting that so many people, even their fans, would find it wah-wah. You know? I thought the fans would be diehard, would be excusing it left and right, wouldn't mind it, would be making excuses for everything. Kind of like this post. I mean, honestly, this is the kind of post we were seeing before the game launched. You guys remember I was saying it's insane that they don't have vehicles for you to drive around these planets, because you'll land on a certain spot on the planet, but then if you want to move somewhere else on the planet, you have to fast travel with your ship, and then there's a load screen between the 2 points instead of just having like a rover or a speed bike or something to travel around the planet. And now we know it's because you're in these fish bowls, and if they gave you a vehicle to zip to the edge, you'd hit the edge very, very quickly, and it would be very clear that this is not a whole planet for you to explore. They were kind of hoping you wouldn't go, you know, full Truman Show mode and hit the wall, that you would always just kind of stay within the center of it. But I remember posting those videos and TikToks and stuff saying, this doesn't make sense that they aren't giving you vehicles. This is not going to work very well. And people were saying, no, there are vehicles. They're just not announcing them yet. Just you wait. You're jumping the gun. And they were, what was really delicious about it is that they were saying I was jumping the gun, and I was inferring things that were not true because I was saying there weren't vehicles, because they hadn't said anything about vehicles, didn't mention them, no hint of them, whatever, which was truly delicious, because they are the ones just making up that vehicles will be in the game, even though they haven't been mentioned, because they're saving it for a super special ultra announcement closer to launch, or when we play the game, and it'll be so cool. I'm like, you're accusing me of the literal, like the exact thing that you're doing. You're making up that vehicles are in the game, and then you're saying that I'm making up information that they're not in the game because they haven't been mentioned. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Luke taking a victory lap. Oh yeah. I mean, I know maybe the proper thing is to be like, I don't like saying I told you so, but I told you so. No, I like saying I told you so, especially because so many of these people were so toxic and just nasty to me and to the community in the lead up to Starfield. Yeah, it feels good to be able to go like, yeah, see, when you have two brain cells to rub together, you can infer this stuff and figure out that this is how it's going to go. It's not that complicated. Like, these games are not magic, okay? If something doesn't make sense, what's more likely? That there's a huge piece of it you're missing, or that maybe they were just kind of stupid and they didn't think about this thing, or that it doesn't come together properly? Probably the latter. Like, it's just not that complicated. Like, with so many of these things, like when people were like, Luke, how did you predict that ZeniMax was going to sell to Xbox before it was announced and everything? And I'm like, because it's not that complicated. They say openly they're trying to maximize revenues and increase their bottom lines and get as far into the black as they possibly can. They're talking to other huge private equity firms about potentially selling chunks of their business off to them. And I was like, so clearly they're open to selling. They're trying to do all this live service stuff to maximize revenues to get a higher price when they sell. Yeah, they're going to sell to a big boy like Xbox or something, maybe Vivendi, or at that time we were thinking maybe Embracer Group even. And sure enough, they did. Little flash of the belly. Sure enough, they did. And it wasn't rocket science. It's like, no, you just look at the things, you think for a second and you can figure it out. But so often people just go with whatever the Twitter headline is, and they don't think about it any further than that. It's the same kind of thing that was like so brain dead about that when people were freaking out over Ubisoft deleting accounts that had been inactive for years. People were like, oh my God, it's Ubisoft trying to destroy people's accounts, so they have to buy games all over again. So they're just milking people for more money by deleting their accounts and forcing them to do it. I'm like, Guys, 10 seconds of Googling will show you that this is because in the European Union, there are laws requiring them to delete user information, including accounts, if the account has been inactive for a set period of time because they can't agree to the new terms of service, giving consent for that company to retain their information. Like, this is not a matter of corporate overstepping or anything. This is purely a matter of them abiding by the laws of the European Union. And people are like, no, well, no, but it's because Ubisoft bad. I'm like, there's a lot of reasons to not like Ubisoft. This is a very stupid one. This is a very stupid one. Like, what are you talking about? It discredits so many people so often when they do this type of thing, because like these YouTubers and streamers are able to be informed. Like, they have the ability to know this stuff, but they seemingly intentionally just jump on whatever bandwagon they can as quickly as they can to, I guess the easy thing is to say get clicks, but a lot of them are not even getting like amazing views. So I don't even know what it is. Maybe it's just pure laziness. I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff like that where every once in a while I'm like, is this just somebody being stupid or lazy, or is it there's some bigger plot here? I don't know. Ham, I'm honestly not sure about GTA 6's main story. That's one of the biggest concerns people have. Is that the story is going to be off and maybe a little bit too PC or whatever. I really don't know how that plays out. Hauser did leave, and apparently he's brought, I actually pulled this up. Here, long time. I guess this is new segment, Jacob, new segment. So I guess we can touch on this. Do I have any other things to shout out real quick before I go into another tirade? I'm getting lightheaded. I'm just going off, man. I'll tell you what. Let's see. Oh yeah, Randalorian. I did make a video on that. I think it went up yesterday. Yeah, we did talk about that on the stream on Monday. Let's see. Any other? Yeah, brother lady. If that's a reference to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, I love it. We're brother ladies. I love it. Thank you for becoming a member. 3 months. ESV is my favorite game of all time. I used to be excited for Elder Scrolls 6, but how BGS did Starfield, I have a little hope, sadly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping they figure it out, but they have to do a lot of work with their tools, because as of right now, I mean, just imagine if in 2027, 2028, we get the Elder Scrolls 6 and it's like just as filled with load screens every time you walk into a building and stuff. Like, it's going to be tough to play. It's going to be tough if it's that out of date. But yes, sir. Oh, it is a reference to Foster's Home. Oh, I love it. We're brother ladies. Oh, if people have not watched Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, you got to. It's a great show. That was part of my childhood, was that. I don't know why my parents were like really weird about us watching. Like, we couldn't watch The Fairly Odd Parents. My parents didn't want us watching Jimmy Neutron for a long time. What else? Of course, Harry Potter was evil and satanic, so we couldn't watch that. But we were allowed to watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Codename Kids Next Door. Watched a lot of that. That's a great show. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Oh, man. And Codename Kids Next Door. What a throwback, man. Oh. And Spencer, thank you for the 5. Did you find any good Black Friday / Cyber Monday deals? I found my sister an MSI pre-built PC with a 4060 for $800. Oh, really? Oh, that's a very good deal. I didn't really. I was looking out for them. Well, I guess I should say that I did get a good deal on a handful of things. For one, after the whole swatting thing, we decided to invest heavily into a lot of new security stuff. So I had to spend, I mean, I mentioned that I met with lawyers and stuff, and they're, that's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars for legal protections for all this. But on the other side of just security, I bought a crap ton of Ring cameras and stuff. So now our whole house is like some sort of cult compound where all around the whole proximity and exterior, we have tons of cameras. And so, yeah, we got our bases covered there, but the cameras were on a pretty good sale. I will say that was very nice to see. But other than that, it felt like everything this year for Black Friday was like 5% off, 10% off. It didn't feel like Black Friday. It felt like just a weekend sale. Am I the only one that felt that way? It seemed like a lot of the sales were not very aggressive. It was all like very milquetoast and minimal. Tropical is the best Red Bull flavor. This man gets it. Yeah, shout out to Red Bull also. I showed you guys in stream Red Bull. Like, we reached out to them. We're like, hey, would you like to be a sponsor of the Luke Stevens channel? And like, give me a mini fridge. It'll go right here. It'll be on camera all the time, and I'll have Red Bulls in there all the time. They said, no, we're not currently sponsoring YouTube streamers. This was before the co-streaming thing opened up, or multi-stream, whatever it's called. But they're like, we're not sponsoring YouTube streamers right now, but because Luke's a fan of Red Bull, we'd be happy to send him Red Bull whenever he wants. Like, so basically an unlimited supply. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they will send me, like, not pallets. It's not an actual pallet, but like those huge trays you see at the supermarket that then you pull the 4-pack out of, that has like 30 of them. 30 of the 4-packs inside the tray. They'll send me like 4 or 5 of those, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of Red Bull, and I'm here for it. So shout out to Red Bull. Cheers. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. A case. Yeah, that's probably the right term. A case of Red Bull. Let's see, where was I? Monster clears Red Bull. Oh, you watch your mouth, Yokes. You watch your damn mouth. Did I get a Spotify Wrap this year? I don't use Spotify. I use Tidal. As if you guys didn't think I was bougie enough. I'm just the most bougie ever. Yeah, I use Tidal. I don't use Spotify or Apple Music or anything. So I don't know if they do it. But Tidal is, if you don't know Tidal, if you are music, if you're kind of an audiophile, or if you have very nice speakers or headphones and stuff, Tidal allows you to listen to music and stream it in a much higher quality than anything that Spotify can deliver. Like, if you're listening mostly through wireless, okay, it's fine, whatever. But Tidal, if you have quality music or sound equipment, it's what you need. Where's press artists explore the app for music sound quality? I think this is the description. Yeah, so they offer 24-bit 192 kilohertz studio quality, like full studio master quality. It's just on another level, I'll tell you what. I believe this is the company that Jay-Z co-founded, because he was sick and tired of all of these places like Spotify that had, it's basically like if Spotify is Netflix, but like, imagine a version of Netflix that only streams in 360p. That's Spotify. Tidal allows you to stream it in 4K. Make sense? It's basically how it works. Basically how it works. So, yeah, Charlie Munger died. Yeah, I did see that. Rip legend for real. Dev, so how dare you? How dare you? Now you've opened Pandora's box for me. Yeah, I will warn you, it's very good. But you won't realize, like, streaming music, a lot of people are just used to low quality audio files. So like once you stream master grade quality, and if you have like the audio equipment to drive it, like a nicer pair of headphones or something, you will hear a difference, and it will make everything else, like on Spotify, the radio, whatever else, it will make it all sound like absolute garbage. It'll make it sound like you have a cotton ball shoved in your ear and then your headphones over that. Like it's so different. Title is Preem. Oh yeah, the series for the Fallout show. Yeah, we can talk about that. I wanted to talk about this Rockstar thing real quick. So we can do that. Didn't know who Charlie Munger was, but saw a video of his highlights and one-liners and jokes, and the dude had such sharp wits. We'll have to go look through his other interviews. Yeah, he was the COO, I think, of Berkshire Hathaway. Basically, Warren Buffett's right-hand man. And yeah, the dude's an absolute legend. And he died, I think, at 99 years old yesterday. And he was still just as sharp as ever. I mean, the dude was just crazy. Crazy. GTA 6 trailer release date. I'm guessing the 4th or 5th, whatever, Monday or Tuesday of November or of December. Simkey, I see you're 26 with a wife, 2 kids already. You're good with finances, so I wanted to ask your advice for saving up money with a normal non-streamer income, non-US. Appreciate it. Excuse me. Well, Simkey, I appreciate the sentiment. As for that, not official financial advice, of course, but with so much of this, it's just about discipline. One of Charlie Munger's things that he always said was, if you want to become truly wealthy, the hardest thing to do is to get that first 100K saved up. And he said, whatever you have to do, whether it's walking everywhere, eating nothing but ham sandwiches on like Wonder Bread, whatever it is, like whatever you have to do, you just have to be very disciplined and save obsessively and then invest that. And to be clear, investment is not speculation. It's not buying crypto. It's putting it into an actual growth account, growth-based account, something like, even if you're a non-US citizen, trading into like the S&P 500 or something that just trades on large tech stocks that tend to grow quickly, and just being disciplined with it and obsessive. I mean, there's no shortcut. The problem is a lot of people look for the shortcut to wealth. There isn't one. It's just a lot of discipline. Yes, you can get extra lucky. Yes, you might get a new job that pays you even more, but you have to just be really disciplined with it. It's like, it's just something you have to do. But those ideas to save from Charlie Munger are all silly, though, if you don't make that much money from your income to begin with. I agree, Emeraldo's G. I agree. You have to make a certain level of money to be able to save money in order to become wealthy. Like if you're working at McDonald's minimum wage at 32 hours a week, if you do that for your whole life, there is no mathematical way for you to become wealthy. That is true. Like to pretend like, oh, well, if you just cut coffee out of your diet, you'll be a millionaire. Stupid. No, of course. Like in order to be a millionaire, you have to be able to put away like $500 a month into a growth like IRA or something. And then mathematically, you will be a millionaire by the time you're like 55, but you have to be able to do that. So I would encourage you to figure out how to hustle and get that extra income so that you can save it. And that's where the difference comes in. It's going to be a lot of work and maybe a second job or whatever else. And even then it'll be very, very difficult and there's some luck involved. But luck paired with discipline is a force stronger than anything known to man. Or start an OnlyFans and sell foot pics. That's the easy. Yeah, that is the get rich quick strategy. That's it. Money's the root to all evil. That's probably why it's so fun. I mean, that's why. That's probably why, yeah. There's another sneeze coming. I can feel it. Oh, it's sitting like right there. Oh, wow. But the last thing I'll say about that is just, the thing is, I read this in a book, a simple book like years ago that I just read kind of on an impulse when I got my Kindle. because it was on sale. And it was called You're a Badass at Making Money. Really simple book, just trying to kind of hype you up and explain it. But she had a really interesting thing to say about money. And she was just like, in our culture, at least in the US, there's a common hatred for money and finance and things and the wealthy. And she said, if you make like a point to hate those who have money, to tie money with evil and corruption and disgusting behavior, and like you hate money, you shouldn't be surprised when you don't have any of it. If you hate anything, you shouldn't be surprised if you don't have any of it. Like if you hate sushi and then you're confused why you never have sushi in your fridge, that shouldn't be confusing to you. And if you hate money and hate people who have money and you're always be like, eat the rich, blah, 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 you shouldn't be shocked when you don't have any money yourself. Money is a tool. Money can be a powerful tool, but you have to learn how to use it. And it doesn't have to be the root of all evil. It can be, but you know, it's just something you have to embrace. Like, I don't think it's bad if you want to live in a nicer house. That's okay. Like, who cares? It's a Hassan moment. No, this is a Hassan moment. Sorry. I forgot to put on like Kitchen Nightmares and then put that full screen and then get up. That would have been a Hassan moment. Oh God. Okay. Anyway, shifting gears a little bit. We've been talking about Rockstar and all of that stuff because Rockstar is about to announce GTA 6, which, let's just be honest, is that not like totally insane that we're already like, we're right on the cusp, literal days away from seeing a GTA 6 trailer. Like it hasn't really settled in yet. Like this is something we've been talking about potentially happening for a decade, and we're almost there. Like, and we know for a fact we're almost there. It's really, really weird. Like, yeah, frothing at the mouth, blue balls. It doesn't feel real. I mean, we'll see if the trailer lives up to it. Who knows? But one of the big questions with GTA 6 is specifically the story, because like with Saints Row, the reboot of that, I think a lot of people would agree that the biggest problem it suffered was that it had a real problem with tone, let's just say, especially with like the crazy cringe writing, the thought that like gamers would identify with these hipsters, like a Saints Row. Let me see if I can just find a clip of the opening bit. Maybe like the thought that we would all identify with these guys. This is a video from Senti, who are like standing around shirtless, chatting and like rambling about their student loans and how they don't want to get a job because they don't want to buy into the capitalist patriarchal machine and all this. They just managed to write some of the most cringe, just uninteresting people. Like if I have people like this in my life, I stop hanging out with them because they're so annoying. But Saints Row's developers, Volition, they thought that this was what people would identify with, honestly. And so they put this together. And that's why like most of the accounts of the launch of Saints Row were that the developers were honestly shocked at the response. And I believe they actually doubled down when they were asked about this. Let's see, developers double down Saints Row. Like people were asking them if they were going to change the writing or if they were going to shift it or something. But apparently they just like doubled down on it and were like, no, we're trying to do this. Like in a Eurogame interview, Lindgren said the upcoming game still feels like Saints Row, even if it's not the same characters, even if it's not the same setting, even if it's not exactly the same as before. Yeah, it's more vibrant and unique than previous entries. And they basically said, no, this is what we're doing and we're proud of it. And they probably shouldn't have been. But everybody's worried that this is going to be GTA 6, that we're going to have another situation like this. And part of the reason people are worried about that is because there are some big heavy hitters at Rockstar that are not there anymore. One of the biggest head honchos was Dan Houser. If you don't know Dan Houser, he's a co-founder of Rockstar, actually. And this guy is responsible probably for most of your favorite games. Like he's been involved like from the beginning. Okay. And he left Rockstar back in 2020. Thank you to everybody for the super chats and subs and stuff. I'll get to that at the end of the segment. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to stay kind of on track. So don't worry. But he left Rockstar after 22 years with the company in 2020 to found Absurd Ventures. Now, Absurd Ventures is a brand new, look at all this stuff. He was the executive producer and writer on like all of these games: Bully, GTA 4, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire, Max Payne 3, GTA 5, Red Dead 2. Like, he's involved with all of it. And he left Rockstar 3 years ago. And it's not just him. It's not just him. He's brought with him a lot of top-level talent. Longtime senior Rockstar developers are gathering at Absurd Ventures, the company started by Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser, which he started back in 2020 when he left Rockstar. He left and founded his own company. And he's hired GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 senior writer Michael Unsworth as the head of story. And Laszlo Jones is listed as a co-founder of the company. Is that not crazy? Very interesting. So, a lot of people are wondering, for one, why did they leave? And two, what impact does this have on GTA 6? That these senior head honchos have left. On the one hand, okay, let's offer both sides of it, okay? On the one hand, this could simply be that the guys had gotten kind of bored with their work at Rockstar and that they were doing another Grand Theft Auto, and they're like, I want to do something more experimental and crazy. So they decided to found their own company and go do that. That could be it. There's that sneeze. Oh, I've been waiting on it. So that could be it. It could be that simple. Okay. Could be that simple. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Could be nothing more than that. Or it could be that they grew disenfranchised with Rockstar some way, somehow. And this was something that Rocksteady actually recently dealt with when right before the announcement of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's gameplay and live service debacle, Rocksteady's co-founders left. Remember that horribly received trailer of the Battle Pass and all that stuff, the live service elements? That happened, I believe, in February of this year. But in October of last year, just a few months before that, Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker, the co-founders of Rocksteady, left. Seemingly because they knew that this game that they were putting out was going to be received probably fairly poorly, and they didn't want their name attached to it, so they left. And people are wondering if this is sort of the same thing that's happening at Rockstar, where maybe these guys see the writing on the wall and are deciding to get out and go do something they're actually passionate about before the crap hits the fan. Especially because we know of a lot of other stuff that is going on within Take-Two Interactive, where like the CEO of Take-Two Interactive is saying that they think that they should be able to charge like per hour for engagement on video games, that they think that the pricing models in current games are terrible. They're throwing out the possibility of perhaps even $100 plus versions of games on day one. So people are wondering if maybe they're seeing or hearing things that are going to be happening with GTA 6 that they don't want to be involved in, so they're leaving. To be clear, none of this is confirmed. Like, we don't know clearly one way or the other what this means. It could honestly just be that they were kind of bored of doing another GTA game and they decided to leave to do their own thing. Could be it. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It could be something also as simple. I believe Absurd Ventures, the company that they founded, is based out of, I think, New York. I don't recall exactly where. This is their website. It's super trippy. Okay. I don't know what this is. This is throwing me off. But with this, yeah, Santa Monica. Okay, so it's all in Santa Monica. So it's based in Santa Monica, not New York. It's based in Santa Monica. Sometimes with this stuff, it's as simple as just wanting to move. Like if somebody who works in Fresno, but they want to live in Santa Monica and they get offered a job with their old buddy who left Rockstar to found his own company because he knew a wealthy investor who bankrolled it. Maybe they just go and they're like, hey, we can move to Santa Monica. Let's do that. And so they leave. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Just like for you, if you're offered a different job, all these other things can pile into it and change the conclusion. So I don't want to just jump to the conclusion that therefore GTA 6 is going to be terrible because there's frustrations with this or because of writers leaving. But who knows? We don't. We'll probably get a pretty good idea when we see the trailer as to the tone of the game. And then as we get more trailers and stuff, we'll get a better and better idea. But like cringe writing rears its ugly head very quickly. It's very hard to hide it. So, and usually, especially because the writers don't realize it's cringy, so they put it front and like foremost and are shocked when people respond negatively to it. And so I think if there is a sort of Saints Row reboot problem with GTA 6, we'll see it very, very early. And it will be painfully obvious. So I think we'll know pretty quickly. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Let me find the exact quote that he put out. Hold on. Excuse me. Wasn't Forspoken more cringe than Saints Row reboot? I think Forspoken was... It depends on what you mean by cringe. For me, cringe is like that feeling when you're laughing at something or somebody because it's so bad that it's entertaining, but the person that you're laughing at doesn't realize they're being entertaining, at least for that reason. So like for Saints Row, it was so bad that it was like a car crash you couldn't look away from. And you wanted to still like, you were still intrigued. You're like, what is happening? What is happening here? But like, they didn't realize that they were being cringy or that it was so bad that it was entertaining for all the wrong reasons. With Forspoken, it was just written so poorly that it was boring and like she just was not likable at all. So I think it was different. Like there was certainly cringe where she's trying to be funny and it's just not funny at all. And that almost makes it funny because it's like, it kind of doubles down on it. But I think it's just different sides of it. I think it's different sides of it. Cody, thank you for the $4.99. Could Dan Houser worked on GTA 6 pre-2020 and then finished his work there and moved on to Absurd Ventures? It's certainly possible. My understanding of the game dev cycle is that the writers are involved pretty much up until launch, with tweaking quest lines, cutting dialogue, reworking dialogue, rewriting stuff when they need to. So for like a head writer to leave 3 years out from launch, which presumably, according to like some of the recent reporting, that was only a year and a half into the development of GTA 6, like active development. That's very early to be leaving. And now it could have been that maybe somebody else came along and they promoted from within and they were just like, hey, this guy's younger and wittier and we're going to go with him. And so he left. Who knows? But Forspoken, Joss Whedon dialogue, Saints Row, preachy mess. Yeah, it's like Saints Row tried to like also lecture people. Well, maybe it wasn't even lecture. It was like it was basically the college student thing of being like, yeah, and you know, Jeff Bezos, screw that guy. And then you ask like, why do you hate Jeff Bezos? And like they don't have anything. They're just used to saying that, and people not even clapping, doing like the college student. I can't stand that when people snap instead of clapping. It's like, you can clap. If you have one arm, I get it. Okay, I understand. If you have two hands and you're fully capable of clapping and everybody else is clapping, but you just go, I can't stand it. Like, what are you doing? Stop it. Drives me crazy. But like these types of people are used to just like saying random stuff like that. And then everybody going like a crab and everybody's just like patting each other on the back. It's crazy. Luke being Thanos. Yeah. Snapping is only okay if you're doing slam poetry. Yeah. What was it? It was hold on. Hold on. I'm getting the slam poetry.
I was not the bullet. I was not the gun. I was not the jury. So don't blame me, son. Zimmerman was wrong. No, that's so. Zimmerman was wrong. It's not Eric, though.
Yeah. That kind of thing. Oh, sorry. It's so stupid. Sometimes I feel like such an old man, you know. Stop snapping and clap like a real person, you know. Oh man. Snap, snap, snap. Do we need a snap emote? Do we need the snap emote? Should we get that for members and subs? Snap, 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 snap. I think we should do that. Jacob, can you make a note of that? We'll add a snap emote. I think that'd be funny. I'd use it all the time. Oh, McTraz has one already on Twitch. Oh, somebody beat me to it. Do you think Baldur's Gate 3 on controller is easy for comfort? Yeah, Nikki has played on controller a bunch and she doesn't seem to mind it. I'm used to using a PC mouse and keyboard, and I think that's where the game is best, but that's just me. Excuse me. GTA 6 will innovate with NPCs. Yeah, apparently they've done a lot of stuff. They've done a lot of stuff with the AI, so I'm hopeful as well. GTA 6 single player live service. Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, I agree, Steve. That's what I'm hoping for too, that they do a whole Herald of Darkness musical segment. It's such a layup. I have to think that they will, but who knows? Maybe there's licensing stuff. I don't know. If they don't do that, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked. Okay. We talked about that. You guys want to talk about the most insanely stupid thing I've seen all day? You want to know? Like, this actually upset me. Sorry, Jacob. New segment. This actually really, really upset me, okay? And Jacob in chat, you're going to be livid about this too if you've not seen it already. So you guys have heard. Jacob and I got flown out to LA just a couple weeks ago. I guess 2 weeks ago, as of today, I think it was. But we got flown out to LA. It was awesome. We got to tour James Cameron's like private collection of artifacts. We got to see the Titanic models used in the film, the actual Heart of the Sea, Heart of the Ocean, whatever necklace, the actual Oscar from Best Picture in 1997. I got to hold it and take pictures with it. It was super cool. We got to see all of that. And then play Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I put up a video yesterday on the main channel discussing my thoughts on it. And so you can go hear all of that there. And I'm sure we'll talk about it with Joe Raptor here on the podcast in about an hour and a half. But one of the things that was most cool about that tour is seeing all of the artifacts that WETA Digital had created for the creation of Avatar and the films, because they are the they're the wizards of special effects and stuff that are behind those films. And something insane happened, okay? Something really, really insane and very, very stupid happened. WETA, which is a legendary group within the VFX industry, is being shut down by Unity. Unity bought them like 2 years ago from Peter Jackson for $1.625 billion. That was back in December of 2021. So they bought that to help create the metaverse. This is the CEO that now is disgraced and has left. This is the guy that was behind that insane pricing model where they were going to charge developers and publishers per download of games using the Unity engine. And it was received so horribly that he was forced into quitting or retiring, and tons of employees got laid off. They had revenues plummet. Like, he almost single-handedly imploded the entire company with his dumbass decisions. He's just insane. Like, he's just insane. But this is him back then talking about the acquisition of WETA Digital.
The new era of creativity is really, something bigger than it's ever been before.
Unity's really been focused on this mission that the world's a better place with more creators in it. But what we see now is that there's a new generation of creators that are going to want to, imagine even more in rich 3D experiences.
Avatar or Lord of the Rings or Wonder Woman wouldn't have been possible without WETA's tools and the great artists behind them.
We knew that digital effects offered so much possibility for us to be able to create the worlds and the creatures that we were imagining.
Now we're taking those tools that we have created and handing them over to Unity to market them for the entire world.
Well, together Unity and WETA Digital can create a pathway for any artist in any industry who will now be able to leverage these incredible creative tools.
Now those tools will escape the WETA world and they'll be available to everywhere.
We see that being used in just about every industry you can imagine, from retail to medicine to film and TV and gaming, of course.
I think for a generation to come, WETA is going to be one of Unity's most important partners and probably our greatest source of inspiration.
Offering new and aspiring creatives' access to WETA Digital's technology will be game-changing.
We're incredibly excited to continue that deep partnership where we work with them as they are working on their next movies, as they continue to sort of create. But the real magic here is what both of us are each also independently great at.
What we do the best is what we make incredible VFX shots and animation clips for film and TV.
And we are going to be great of take all of that innovation and make it accessible to a much broader set of creators around the world.
Sounds great, right? Take their amazing tool sets and technologies, bring it more public and mainstream in the Unity tool set. Sounds great. Also, shout out to Peter Jackson. I feel like every time I see a picture or video of this guy, he's holding a cup of coffee. He's an absolute legend. Kind of looks like a homeless Santa in a lot of ways. But anyway, sounded great. They have now, though, decided to just fire everybody. Part of a company reset. Effectively, what it seems like they did is that they bought WETA Digital for $1.625 billion, which by most metrics, apparently Unity really couldn't afford that. That was stretching themselves pretty damn thin, which is part of the reason that they needed to increase revenues like they did, and why they pushed a little too hard on doing all this. And so basically, I mean, if we just go through this, Unity has announced a round of layoffs and the closure of WETA Digital after it decided to end its agreement with Peter Jackson's WETA Effects. The layoffs will impact 265 employees, 3.8% of its workforce. So specifically 3.8% of its workforce, not WETA's, Unity's. For WETA, this is like the whole thing. This is the whole thing. I mean, Peter Jackson has to be livid. They have some world-class artists. I mean, again, Avatar, Lord of the Rings, Avengers Endgame, like all of these iconic films with amazing special effects, WETA Digital, and they're just dumping them. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Now, I don't fully understand, and maybe they get into this, like, exactly where the film side of this ends and where the tools begin, and then the tools as they lead into the film development and the game development. Like, I don't know how this agreement exactly worked, because as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been like clearly stated exactly what this deal involved. But let's continue. Because likely I'm saying all this and then they're going to answer it further down in the article, so I'll just shut up. But back in December 2021, Unity acquired part of Peter Jackson's WETA Digital, including WETA Digital's tools, pipeline, technology, and engineering talent in a deal worth $1.625 billion. The remainder of WETA Digital remained under Jackson's ownership and was rebranded to WETA FX, with the company maintaining an agreement to use WETA Digital's tools and services. Okay, so they did a deal with the company to get access to their tools and engineering talent. Excuse me, another sneeze. But they, the remainder of WETA Digital remained under Peter Jackson's ownership and was WETA FX. And so they're ending their deal with WETA FX, and layoffs with WETA Digital, which is the part that they acquired, are being shut down, which I don't know what that does to WETA FX. Like, does that now mean that they don't have engineers or rights to their tools anymore? Because it sounds like they just hired Peter Jackson's engineering team for $1.6 billion, took the tools, fired the engineers, and part of the deal made it so WETA FX would keep access to the tools, but now there's no engineers to make or maintain the tools. So it just seems like Peter Jackson made $1.6 billion to lose all of his engineering talent and software engineers and tools. Like, that's what it seems to me. But anyway, they go on. Now, Unity has terminated the professional services part of the agreement, which will result in the layoffs of 265 employees involved in the agreement. WETA FX issued a statement to FX Guide saying it would be looking to rehire as much of WETA Digital's team as possible. Unity will retain ownership of the tools it acquired, and they will remain readily available for WETA FX to use. Okay. So maybe, just maybe, this isn't that big of a deal If they say that they're looking to rehire as much of them as possible, maybe it is that just Unity's firing them under the Unity umbrella, and then WETA is just going to rehire them all. So they're just kind of moving from one company to the other, I guess. So to me, this really sounds like they just spent $1.625 billion to get access to WETA tools, and that's it. They lost the engineering talent because now they can't afford to keep them. Wow. Okay. They go on to say, Unity believes WETA Digital's team is remarkable, but Unity needs to become a leaner force as it focuses its expertise on its core business. Again, they expanded too much. The statement says, explaining why this decision was made, quote, it also believes it makes more sense for WETA FX to own full end-to-end production activities directly. Unity will be focusing. Well, then, if that's the case, why did you buy it for $1.6 billion? Like, it's a pretty big turnaround within 2 years to be like, yeah, well, we decided that that thing we spent over $1 billion on, yeah, it didn't really make sense. Wow. Okay. Unity will be focusing its expertise and people on other matters, and WETA FX will be getting support for its use of the WETA tools directly from its own crew, a shorter path which makes sense for both companies. Again, then why did you pay $1.6 billion for it? It's just crazy to me, dude. The move has been called a company reset by Unity, the company looking to refocus on its core business of game development. Unity will also look to reduce its office footprint as a cost-cutting measure, shutting down offices in 14 locations, including Berlin and Singapore. The company will encourage employees to work from home more often, removing mandatory in-office days for employees and reducing full in-office services to just 3 days a week. The layoffs come at a tumultuous time for the company after it tried to introduce the unpopular runtime fee to make up revenue. The fallout from that announcement saw developers across the industry denounce Unity, along with a steep drop in share price, and CEO John Riccitiello stepped away from the company. Unity employees have already faced layoffs this year, with 8% of its workforce laid off in May, in a move the company said was necessary for higher growth. So all of this just sounds like they spent $1.6 billion to get access to WETA tools and engineers, and now they're firing the engineers because they can't afford to pay them, and so WETA's just going to rehire the engineers and team behind it. And so WETA is just, I mean, they're basically sharing the tools that they would already be using and producing, but now they get all of their engineers back. Like, this actually, now, if they do get to rehire the talent, this sounds like a win-win for WETA, because they get their employees back under their roof. They made $1.6 billion, and all they have to do is share their tools with Unity now. Like, I don't see the downside. So initially it sounds horrible, but shocker, when you read the article, it changes the narrative. It's weird. So that's what the W in WETA stands for. So it sounds like Peter Jackson just comes out of this with a lot of money in his pocket and a very happy fella. So wow. Does WETA FX have to pay Unity now to no, I think the agreement, how they say, was that the company maintains an agreement to use WETA Digital's tools and services. If there is like a payment involved with that, I would doubt that. Like, it doesn't really make sense for Unity to pay WETA and then on the other side require WETA to pay Unity. Like, which side is paying, you know? So it seems like WETA probably just gets access to it as part of the deal. It's priced into the 1.6. Maybe it was like $2 billion if they don't get access to the tools, 1.6 if they do. I don't know, but I'm confused. So why are they laid off? Because Unity can't afford to pay them. Whoops, sorry. Unity, like, they're so strapped for cash already. They couldn't really afford the $1.6 billion acquisition back in 2021. And a lot of people were upset that the CEO, that John Riccitiello or whatever, that he decided to do this, because they were like, Unity's not really making much money, and then you just decided to spend $1.6 billion, and we're not really sure why, because it doesn't really help our core business. Like, I think it was his goal to make Unity more mainstream and used in like broader applications, kind of like Unreal Engine, where Unreal Engine is used in like, it's used in car dashboards, it's used in like stadiums, it's used all over the place. It's really, really broad in its application. So maybe he was hoping to get that, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Kevin is now a red flag. Luke, you're the best gaming channel out there. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to Kevin, 5 months. Ooh, baby. And Jack, thank you earlier for the 2. You should watch the Jaden Williams GTA 6 skit. We can potentially add it to the list. We always, just because we try to avoid potential issues with like copyright stuff, we always have to verify and review clips before we watch them on stream. But any updates on Beyond Good and Evil 2? Not as far as I know. Not as far as I'm aware. So why did they buy them if they can't afford to keep them? Well, yeah, Morpheus, I agree. That's what everybody's saying right now. Like, it was a really weird decision. But this is the same kind of thing that Embracer Group did. So if you recall, just a few years ago, interest rates were super, super low. And when interest rates are low, debt is what's called cheap. So you can take out loans to do big things like buying companies or like expanding office buildings or whatever. And you can do all of that at a very low cost. However, debt doesn't stay cheap forever. Rates go up. And that's kind of what's happened. So a lot of these companies have expanded very, very quickly during COVID because money was so cheap. And this is like, unless you're familiar with finance, it kind of breaks your brain to think about. But if inflation is at a certain percentage rate and the interest rate on a loan is below that inflationary rate, it makes more sense to take out a loan and acquire debt to do stuff with than to sit on cash that you have and spend that cash on things. It makes a lot more sense to acquire the debt because the debt is so cheap that it's basically free money. And that's what we had during COVID. That's why every company was just exploding right after the initial drop during COVID, because the money was basically free. And now we're suffering from it because that's not how the economy works. If you do that, it's boom time for a year and then inflation catches up and everybody's like, wait, you just added a flood of new cash into the economy. You can't just do that. Now everything's going to be more expensive because you've diluted the value of the currency. And that's what we're dealing with now. And it's the same thing with all these companies where they expanded really, really quickly and aggressively. And now they're like, well, we were hoping we would just magically figure out how to pay for all of this. And now we can't. So we're screwed. And that's where they're at. And so they're laying off people and stuff is changing. So it is what it is. Why did they make money free anyways? Because when there's a global shutdown of every business and economy and people are in lockdowns and stuff, you'd expect companies to effectively lose their financial standing and sales to drop and the economy to crash, people to get laid off, and then they're under lockdown and they're unemployed so they can't pay their rent and all this. So there's a lot of cascading effects that can come in when something horrible happens like a recession or lockdowns. So the government tried to come in and bankroll everything and basically give everybody enough money that they could behave as if we weren't in a lockdown and the economy wasn't shut down, even though it was. So they did that to stimulate the economy and keep it running, even though it wasn't really running. Kind of like, I don't know if you live in a super cold climate, but if you have like your car parked out on the driveway and it's minus 30 outside, it's going to be really hard for that car to start. And then once it starts even, it's going to take a long time for it to heat up to a comfortable temperature where it's operating normally and where you can get in and participate in the activities within the car comfortably. So what some people will do is they'll go out and they'll start their car early, or they'll keep it running while they're inside so it doesn't drop to that low temperature. That's basically what the government was trying to do was keep the car running while it's freezing outside because the economy is so bitter cold and shut down. They try to keep it running to keep it warm and hot and ready to go, but that takes gas. And now they're like, they poured all this gas that they didn't really have, and now that, you know, check is coming due. Yeah, and now we're out of fuel, basically. Yeah. Used to be that climate before in Iowa. Yeah, well, when we were in Laramie, Wyoming, just like a week ago, like, no joke, it was 5 degrees outside, but the wind chill took it to like minus 35. That was something else. It was something else. I'm surprised he didn't open paint. Yeah, me too, honestly. I'm also shocked. Okay. Do. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Isn't it common sense that the more supply something is, the less value will become over time due to decrease in demand, or am I wrong? Well, for one, common sense is not that common. Unfortunately, it's why I don't really like the term common sense, because what's common sense for one person is like not common sense at all. And sometimes, honestly, there's a lot of sort of counterintuitive things at play within various markets. So it's not always that simple. But in the case of lockdowns and everything during the coronavirus pandemic, it was just it was between a rock and a hard place. It was deciding, do we suffer now or do we suffer later? And a lot of the people decided to suffer later because coronavirus was already bad enough. So they decided to basically screw over the economy in the long term in order to keep people from like losing their homes and cars and stuff in the short term. And whether that was a good trade-off is for each person to decide, but that's why they did it. I mean, those PPP loans and stuff that they did during COVID to allow businesses to get cash to pay employees even though work wasn't being completed, basically, that stuff was done to stimulate the economy, and it kept people employed. Otherwise, a lot more people, probably 30-40% of America at least, would have been laid off and not gotten paychecks during those lockdowns from like March of 2020 through probably July of 2020. And that's enough to just totally break the world economy completely. So because that has cascading effects. If you're not spending money like on restaurants, if you're not spending money shopping on Amazon, if you're not spending money on your rent or on your car insurance, on any of this, all of these other companies then stop getting money in and they lay off employees, and then less people are able to pay for their stuff, and so more companies lose funds and have to lay more people off because they can't pay them. So just all of a sudden the entire thing crumbles. So that was at least the idea. So anyway, let's talk about this, because now there's also another thing that's shockingly occurring. Okay. New segment. World premiere. New segment. Okay. It's happened, boys and girls. It's happened. Apparently, the one and only legendary Skull and Bones has gotten a release date of February 16th, 2024. The information follows an official announcement from Ubisoft in October that the game has a release window set for Q4 of fiscal year 2023 to 2024. And last week, Daryl Long, who will be moving to Toronto to become managing director, confirmed that the game will ship before the end of the fiscal year. Ooh. And this was something that Insider Gaming learned, that they got a lockdown release date of February 16th, 2024. It seems like Ubisoft is confident this is the final step. They're gonna put it out. This is it. Buckle up, buckaroo. Pre-orders for the game are currently live on the Ubisoft store, priced at £49.99 specifically. But Insider Gaming understands that Ubisoft plans to release a premium version of the game as well. Although we've been unable to pinpoint the exact contents of the premium edition, apart from the already revealed cosmetics, it's understood that players will be able to play the game on February 13th with 3 days of early access with the premium edition. It's understood that the new premium edition will set players back another £15 to £20 or $15 to $20. Details on when the game's new release date will be announced are unclear, but sources suggest, due to the nature of the obtained information, that it's likely to be within the next couple of weeks, possibly during the Game Awards, which would be really funny if like people are watching the Game Awards waiting for that GTA 6 trailer and then we get Skull and Bones, but not GTA 6. That'd be really funny. The game, which is currently under the codename Project XA, which I'm just going to say, I understand, like it's code names and it's what the company refers to it as. And then like, you know, eventually the game's announced and then it's public. So you don't need the code name anymore, but people still use it. I get it. But it still is really funny to me when we know these games exist and they're public information and we still refer to them with code names. It's just funny to me. But they say it's been under extensive play tests as of late, with developers having its latest test last week. Skull and Bones was originally planned for a 2018 release date 5 years ago. Just let that sink in. 5 years ago. And it was delayed no less than 6 times. At one point, the game was even being developed with a quote-unquote new vision in mind from the studio at Ubisoft Singapore. But now they're locked down and saying it is coming February 16th of 2024. That's their plan. They're locking it down, saying that's it. I will say I am under the understanding that this is in fact the goal. This is what they're locking down. I have reasons to believe that I cannot share, but I have heard and spoken with people myself who, let's just say, would know what the plan is. And it seems to me that this is definitely the plan. They do not expect to delay this again. So that's what I'm expecting. That's my understanding. As for whether it'll be good is an entirely another question. I mean, I made videos on Skull and Bones, and what I've said before is that at this point, the big question is just like, does it even really matter if the game is amazing? Like, even if the game is really, really good, everybody's already kind of agreed that this game is a disaster. So it probably doesn't matter that much, but time will tell, I guess. Sean, hey bud, left you a PayPal dono so YouTube don't take a cut. Gotta go to work, but we'll be listening in the car. Peace. All hail the Dorito Pope. All hail the Dorito Pope. If you have the Dorito Pope emote in chat, everybody should use it. Praise be to the Dorito Pope. Thank you, Sean. I have not been looking at my phone, but thank you dearly, my friend. I have not seen. Oh, Jesus Christ, Sean. That's okay, Sean. That's extremely generous. Thank you, my friend. Pog for Sean. It's a private thing. It's a private donation through, basically when you go to the like tip link in the link tree that gets put in chat in the description of these videos, there's the option to tip privately where it doesn't pop up on stream and you can be a little bit more discreet, or publicly if you want the little notification to go off. So this was a private one, so I won't be specific, but thank you, Sean. Very, very generous. Pog Sean. Poggers to Sean. And Anton, thank you for the 25 buck. I was trying to come up with a pirate themed pun. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of it. 25 Buccaneers. No? Okay. Thank you for the 25. Hey, look, this might be off topic, but do you put any credence in the God of War Ragnarok DLC spin-off rumors? Happy holidays to you and your family. Sending good vibes from New York. Shout out New York. First of all, again, thank you. And as for that, I mean, personally, I think we do see something like, it just makes too much sense. They put so much work into like the Atreus stuff, the movement, combat mechanics with Atreus. It makes too much sense for them to use that for a spin-off. And they set it up narratively, no spoilers, of course, but like they set it up. So I think they're going to, I would be shocked if they don't. And the rumors are saying they do. Like, as for what exactly it is, it's probably a Miles Morales style thing, maybe 10 to 15 hours long, something more lean that they sell for 40, 50 bucks. But I think it'll also be kind of testing the waters to see if they can do something more elaborate without Kratos. I think Ragnarok was in and of itself kind of an experiment of that, but presumably this will be an expansion without Kratos, a God of War expansion without, or spin-off game without Kratos. And I don't know how that works, because a lot of people saw the Atreus sections as kind of like an awkward lull in the game where the combat wasn't as good as with Kratos. So I don't know how it'll work, but I'm very interested to see. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out for sure. Let's see what else. Stone Lizard, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out. Welcome, my friend. And Carl, 11 months. Ooh, baby. Also, man, I'm excited for the new South Park game, even if it looks a bit iffy at the moment. Hope you're well, man. I am doing very well. And yeah, that new South Park game, it's very different from what they've done before, but I'm also looking at it. I'm very intrigued. Just something different, you know. It's probably something I'll play for like a weekend and then never touch it again, but I think it could be fun. Would I recommend Avatar? Based on what I played, I'm keeping a close eye on it. To be honest, like the demo we got to play was meant to be like 30 minutes, basically. I got to play it twice in different ways. So I basically got an hour to an hour and a half out of it. But it was a very, very thin slice of the cake. So what I tried, I was intrigued by. I was like, ooh, this could be very, very good. I'm seeing signs. There were some things where I was like, combat balancing isn't that consistent. Sometimes it feels like the AI is smart and is doing what they need to do. Other times they're just totally not. And they're just brain dead. So like it was to me, it was unclear if what I was seeing were technical issues, like a bug where the AI isn't working the way it's supposed to, but once it launches, it'll be really good. Once that bug is fixed, or if that's just the AI and the AI is just stupid. I couldn't really tell. So time will tell, and when reviews drop, we'll have a much better idea, I think. But I like, my kind of expectation is it's probably, right around an 8 out of 10. It's probably a good game, not an amazing, stunning masterpiece, but a good game. And I think that's what you should probably expect from a movie tie-in game like that, So that's my guess. Let's see. Skill issue. Yeah. Happy to see your main channel and this channel progressing well. Yeah, Buzzkill, I'll be real. This live channel has been blowing me away recently. I'm still shocked. Like, no joke. This thing was not profitable at all. We were losing money every month that we did the live channel until like 3-4 weeks ago. And then I'm not sure exactly what happened, but all of a sudden the live stream clips went from like 2,000 to 3,000 views a piece and shot up to like 10,000 to 20,000 views a piece. Some of them skyrocketing even higher than that. I'm not really sure what happened or why. But it got kind of crazy. Got crazy, man. It's great to see. I mean, and for us, it means that these streams are actually much more dense. There's a lot more people here, which I think is awesome. And it keeps everything more engaged. Like I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Was it just you that got 2 sessions, or did Jacob and the Scream Rant folks get one as well? Yeah, Jacob got to try it and play it as well. It makes it a lot easier to work on videos when I refer to something like the plant like harvesting mechanic, because he played it and he knows what I'm referring to, so he can come in and edit much quicker. So, and I mean, it makes sense. If you're tasked with editing a video, but you haven't played it and you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's going to be really hard to edit that video if you don't know anything about the game. So it was very helpful that he was able to try it too. And the Screen Rant guys, they were super cool. There was a guy from Watch Mojo there, and yeah, a lot of TikTokers. I'll be real, a lot of TikTokers. Like the majority of the people there were TikTokers. And I asked them, I was like, so just being real, like this is a huge event, like no doubt hundreds of thousands of dollars went into this. And I was like, how did we get here? Why are we here? Like what did we do to get here? And they said, well, we had a big list of people that we submitted to Disney. You guys are the ones that made it through, though. I was like, oh, okay. So apparently we are Disney friendly. I don't know why. I don't know how I managed that. I have a skull sitting on my shelf. I don't know how I managed that, but somehow, yeah, we are Disney friendly. And so we got through that, but a lot of other YouTubers didn't. Like I was expecting to see some other guys, like they flew people out from like the UK, like Andy Reloads, a YouTuber that is a friend of the channel. And it's like they flew people from the other side of the planet to LA. So I was expecting like Skillup would be there. They'd fly out Yong and those guys, maybe Maddie or ACG. But no. Like I was the biggest YouTuber there besides like, Watch Mojo. But like as individuals, as a guy, I was the biggest guy there and I don't know why. I don't know. It was very surprising to me. So yeah, Redberry was there. Yeah. Hey dude, you built the Titanic on stream. I'm sure James Cameron follows you. Yeah, I mean I do have the Titanic, and we're gonna be building a pirate ship. That's what that yellow box is, and we gotta do it. I have to build the Gringotts Bank. That's right there. I've got to do that too. Also surprising considering how much you point out their flaws. This is the thing when everybody's like, I see the comments, don't get me wrong. Like even on this latest Avatar video, it's really funny. There's a lot of them of people like lol, Luke, classic Ubisoft shill. And I'm like, guys, yeah, I liked parts of Avatar. I also called out parts I didn't like. And like, what did I call their latest? Okay, at this point, it's not their latest Assassin's Creed game, but I guess you could say their latest big AAA Assassin's Creed game. I called it a travesty of open world design. I thought it was atrocious. I thought Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
So you get nothing.
Not that one. Sorry. Press the wrong button.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I thought that one was horrible. I thought almost every part of Assassin's Creed Valhalla was a disaster. Just like no part of it worked. No part of it made sense. I thought it was just a series of terrible decisions put into an 80-hour, 100-hour campaign of mediocrity. Nobody seems to remember that. For some reason, people just don't think about that. And I get it. Like I like some Ubisoft games, so it's the meme. Luke likes Ubisoft or whatever. But I have been very hard on Ubisoft a lot, and they still will send me review codes. They still are delightful to work with, and I think that should count for something, because other companies I've done work with where I've been tough on them, they have just blocked me off their email lists, will not respond to anything. And I think that whether intentional or not, it sends a message that like, okay, if you're really hard on Sony, for example, Sony is much less likely to put you high on that list. That's one I've seen. If you're really tough on Sony and you call out Sony crap with like The Last of Us remake for $70, all of a sudden they don't like responding to your emails. It's really weird how that works. It's strange. Maybe a coincidence. Maybe not. Like, yeah, you could say the channel is twice the size it was back then, but now they're responding to you less and less. Like, very strange. Very, very strange, So there's sometimes like that. Or like the best example is, to be fair, I did say that Bethesda was evil for Fallout 76. I did call them evil, and I understand when you call someone evil, they might not want to work with you. I get that. I understand it. But I said it because it was kind of true, and they were kind of evil with Fallout 76. That being said, for years, Bethesda would not respond. Microsoft, Xbox, they were not that talkative with me, and I get it because I called them evil, and that kind of burns some bridges. I get that. I understand it. But I think everybody was shocked when they sent a review code for Starfield. I was probably the most shocked, but yeah, I mean, when they sent a review code for Starfield, we were all kind of stunned. It's like, rip. I saw the email. I was like, rip. Really? Like, we double checked it to make sure it wasn't like a spammer or a bot. Because what game was it? There was a game relatively recently where people were sending out fake, like review code emails to YouTubers and stuff, and being like, yeah, this is the review code offer for, maybe it was Hogwarts Legacy or something like that. It was a big game, and they they started sending emails out and just being like, yeah, we're really excited to offer you a review code. Fill out this form here. And it was like asking for your email address and asking you to provide your login credentials for your YouTube account so that they could link it to the channel. And I was like, okay, no, I've done a lot of NDAs. I've signed a lot of those forms. I've done all of the signups for review codes before. And so immediately I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. No part of this makes sense. And so I didn't fall for it, but apparently a handful of other YouTubers did. It was a big oopsie. But yeah, I bought the Gollum meme game, or Gollum for the meme, for $20 during the Steam Autumn sale. Great purchase. Hey, as long as you have fun with it, man. As long as you have fun with it. Like, it's like I've said before, I think almost every game at some price point makes sense. Like, even if it's horrible, for 5 cents, you can get 5 cents of joy out of how terrible it is. So most games, I think you can get to that point. $20 is still a lot for Gollum. I mean, that's a lot. That's more than I would have paid for it. But hey, if you got $20 of fun out of it, shout out. I mean, that's awesome. Kotaku was rejected for a review code for Hogwarts Legacy. Didn't they weren't they writing a bunch of toxic articles about it though? So many of these, the news publishers were so toxic with Hogwarts Legacy. I thought that was so cringy. So cringy. I'm like, guys, you're game reviewers. Shut up and review games. Like, that's what we're here to do. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions of whether you like the original creator and author of Harry Potter. But respectfully, no one else should give a crap. Like, you're a game journalist. That's it. Like, nobody should care what you think about politics. I've not tried Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch. I've not. After it launched, I kind of couldn't justify it because I will pretty much only be buying it for the video, and I'm not going to be playing it. Like, if I'm going to play it mobile, I'll play it on the ROG Ally. Like, I'm not going to be playing it on the Switch, so buying it would only be for the video. And at that point, at this point, I think the video's past the point where it makes sense. Have you seen the trailer to Blight Survival? I don't think so. Somebody asked me to look up the Dragon's Dogma thing. I did pull that up. Here. So we can check that in a second. Have you bought the RG Ally? Yeah, I did. It did brick my 1 terabyte micro SD card. I'm still pissed about that. Oh man. I didn't know that it was doing that, but apparently the micro SD card slot, if you put a micro SD card in it and you have a certain batch of RG Allies, it just fries the SD card, ruins it. Like, there's some problem where the firmware on the micro SD card reader, when it tries to format the card to be used, it just breaks it. So it ruined however much that was, like $150, $250 or whatever for a 1 terabyte micro SD card. It was crazy. It's crazy. I put it in. I was like, I can't get this damn thing to work. And I Googled it and everybody's like, do not put your micro SD card slot into this thing. It's like, oh, well, Would have been nice to know that. Other than that, I love the thing. It's great. I love it way more than my Steam Deck. But yeah, man. Remember Kotaku did hit pieces on Elden Ring getting Game of the Year? Oh, did they? I don't know. Kotaku at this point, it's tough to be a gaming website because so often they're just trying to do the clickbait thing to get the clicks to justify the expense of the site. Like, it's really hard to monetize it and for it to make sense monetarily. But yeah, man. Oh, the Fallout TV show. That was the other thing. Fallout TV show. Vanity Fair. That's right. We can look at that. Kotaku's BuzzFeed for gamer. Yeah, I don't know who is actually like reading it still. That's where I'm shocked. Like, who's doing it? Did you see Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary got leaked? I did not see that. Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary edition. Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary edition is getting that. Oops. Ubisoft accidentally releases Beyond Good and Evil Remaster, remembers it doesn't do that sort of thing, attempts to scrub all traces from the internet, then gives up and announces it anyways. Someone hit a big red release button. How are they supposed to know what it did? Well, looks like the cat's out of the bag. Dag nabbit. Dagnammit. Happy 20th anniversary to Beyond Good and Evil. While we cannot wait to show you more about this special edition, more news to come in early 2024. Yeah, they are releasing that. Okay. For years, Ubisoft had one single job, not releasing Beyond Good and Evil games. To its credit, it's done the work with aplomb for a good while now. Sure, sometimes we'll get some fanciful Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer, LinkedIn bio will change, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt will appear, but the studio's fundamental principle of not releasing a game in the series has never wavered. Until yesterday, a few months after the ESRB leaked that Ubisoft was working on some kind of new version of the Beyond Good and Evil for all modern platforms, achievement tracking sites caught wind of Xbox Chivos for Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. That was soon followed up by the sudden appearance of an Xbox Store listing now taken down for the game, which was itself followed up by reports of Ubisoft Plus subscribers being able to download and play it. Oh my God, what a disaster. All of which it seems occurred entirely without Ubisoft willing it, since the relevant store page has been taken down and 30 minutes of gameplay captured to upload to YouTube has been erased. Dude, they got 30 minutes of it? How does that happen? Like, with so many of these Ubisoft leaks, I have to wonder if it's just that they have the worst luck ever, or maybe it's like disgruntled employees. Like, sometimes this stuff is so shockingly like vast in terms of the leaks. I have to wonder if there's multiple things happening all at once, you know? Just Normal Korean, thank you for subbing with Prime as well. Welcome. Appreciate you. And Logan, also thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Have you seen the trailer to Blight Survival? I have also zero faith in Ubisoft at every level. I have not yet. I will pull it up in another tab so we can look at that. Blight Survival. Oh, maybe we did look at this. This looks familiar. Well, we did look at this a while back. Yeah, we did. This is like the night in Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, we have looked at this. I just didn't recognize the name. I thought it looked really, really good graphically, but we'll see how it actually like turns out. But it looked really, really good. Okay. But wow. Okay. Oops. They accidentally announced it. That's freaking hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't have much else to say. I mean, it's just maybe it was a disgruntled employee or something, but I mean, that's too elaborate for it to just be like, oops. It's like those videos of somebody tripping and then like they accidentally trip, get under the blanket, lay down on the couch, hit the TV remote, it turns on, it flips the PlayStation 5 controller into their hand, and then it pushes the disc inside the PlayStation, turns it on, switches inputs on the receiver, turns the speakers on, the lights turn off because this flips over there, hits the light switch, and then you're all cozied up with the controller, and you're like, I don't know how that happened. It was an accident. That's kind of like what this is, where it's just so many things happen terribly all at once. I have to think either it's some like viral guerrilla marketing campaign where they're trying to make it look like an accident to get headlines instead of just announcing it. It's not a bad idea, honestly. It's really, I've heard worse ideas for marketing, but it's got to be something like that. Either a disgruntled employee or something like that. The Game Awards watch party on the 7th, Luke? Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We'll do a little Christmas Game Awards watch party. I don't know what that'll look like, if we'll get eggnog or something. I don't know. We'll do something for it. It'll be fun. Sup, Kawaii? Good to see you. Ubisoft is cursed. I think it sucks because I actually love that they're ADHD meta games. Excuse me. Okay, let's look at this. People have been asking about this. Okay. Vanity Fair. The one and only Vanity Fair, which, let's be honest, we all definitely read all the time anyways. But in case you somehow missed it in reading it every single day, Vanity Fair got an exclusive first look at the upcoming Amazon Fallout TV show. Now, right now, all eyes are on Amazon with this because Netflix had really good luck initially with the Witcher series on Netflix, until, of course, Henry Cavill decided to leave and they started doing weird stuff writing where like they forgot that it was about The Witcher, Geralt, and the whole show became about like Frangilla in season 2. And I was like, everybody was like, nobody cares about that. Like you, maybe a little bit of court intrigue, but the whole plot line ended up being useless. It resolves at the end of the season and is a total waste of time. And it seems like they're just obsessed with avoiding discussing anything related to The Witcher. And it's bad. It's bad. Anyway, they had really good luck initially with The Witcher on Netflix. And then HBO came out with the Last of Us series on HBO. And that was fantastically well received. And it was a really, really good adaptation, even adding some stuff in terms of lore. And now Amazon is taking a whack at the video game adaptation side of things with Fallout. Now, we don't know a ton about this. Can I get rid of this? Yeah, close that. We don't know a ton about the series. Basically, it's debuting on Amazon Prime on April 12th. A nuclear war breaks out across Earth in the year 2077, which is or was in an era of robots, hover cars, and deep and abiding nostalgia for the American 1940s. Everything from the clothes to the entertainment to the vehicles mimic the look of the bygone age, albeit with a sci-fi tilt. That retro-futuristic aesthetic was one of the charms of the mega-selling video game series that inspired the show. Mass Extinction is just the starting point for Fallout, though, which was developed for TV by Westworld creators, a husband and wife, Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. After the incendiary mushroom clouds, the story flashes forward 219 years. How did humanity fare over those blighted 2 centuries? Lucy, one of the lead characters played by Yellow Jacket star Ella Purnell, has no clue. She has lived her entire life inside of the subterranean vault, where every need and want has been satisfied, while generations and generations await the day when it's safe to return to the surface. Pretty standard. The aesthetic seems pretty accurate. I'll give them that. And then we have some first look pictures. I mean, pictures of power armor. We have pictures of like Brotherhood of Steel ships, and it seems like they're doing a good job sticking to the aesthetic. I think there's a good mixture of like visual effects and then also practical effects. I'm glad to see that not everything is just CGI'd. It looks like there's a lot of actual practical effects going on and actual suits being created. I think that looks awesome. Actual sets being built out. I think the practical effects always will look better than the visual effects. It works better, I think. See that? I always look for these shows. I always look at the teeth. Am I weird for that? I always look at the teeth because like it's one of the smaller details that shows if they're actually trying to like pay attention to detail with the costumes and the setting and everything. And a lot of movies won't do it. Like they'll have a character playing somebody totally homeless and like maybe a homeless drug addict, and then they have just perfectly white teeth, and it always drives me crazy. The best example of like when this was done really, really well was all the way back in 2012. Let's see if I can just find a quick and easy example of this. With Les Miserables, where like you see the teeth. I know you can't really see the teeth here. Hold on. I'm trying to motion blur. It's mad. Show me them chompers. Okay, these are aristocrats. Of course they have nice teeth. Show me. Okay, this is not that helpful. I'm trying not to just play it because then we'll get copyrighted struck like into oblivion. I'm not going to risk that for the sake of all of us. Okay, maybe this. Oh my God. Just, okay. I dreamed a dream. Just do that. Take me to the scene. Okay. Don't sing, Anne Hathaway. You're a great singer, but not today. It's not the time. Show me those chompers. There, you see? So, like, they've yellowed them. They've actually, like, done work to make them look like they're just cavernous as my face covers it. There's a lot of stuff here. This is a total disaster of me trying to demonstrate this. I'm sorry. But they did all sorts of crazy inserts into the teeth to try and match them to the setting so that everybody didn't just have plain pearly whites, because it's like, hey, it doesn't make sense. They aren't brushing their teeth. Doesn't make sense. And for ghouls, it doesn't really make sense for them to have pearly whites either. So the attention to detail to grossen up his teeth, I think, is a good sign. It shows attention to detail in the costuming department. I like it. And then like pictures, behind the scenes photo of it. I'm intrigued. It looks good. Yeah, prosthetics designer Vincent Van Dyke, who worked on Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Killers of the Flower Moon, devised the look of the ghoul. I need to be able to see Walton and his performance, but he needs to look like a ghoul from the game, and he needs to be kind of hot. So with all this, I'm intrigued. It looks like they're paying attention to detail. That's awesome. But Fallout, the tone, it's all tied up in the writing, and it's really hard to tie all of that in. So I'm going to be watching for sure. I'm very intrigued. Amazon does not have a great track record with adaptations and their shows. We all remember the whole Lord of the Rings show debacle. So we'll see how this plays out. But I'm hopeful. After seeing these pictures and stuff, at the very least aesthetically and in terms of attention to detail within costuming and sets, it seems like they've done their homework, and that's awesome to see. So fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. I said years ago that Walt Goggins should play a ghoul in the Fallout series. I feel heard. Jeez. Speaking of Ella Purnell, have you seen Yellow Jackets? It's excellent, fantastic show, unrelated, but did you ever watch Dexter? I did not watch Yellow Jackets. I've not seen it. As for Dexter, I've watched a few episodes, but I've never like gotten hooked. I should try again. I've had the urge recently to go back through Breaking Bad again, so I might be doing that first. I really hope they haven't gone cheap for the VFX on this, but I have a feeling they did. I don't know. It's really tough to say. It's also like if they want to save money on the VFX, sometimes they just go chill with like the scope, and so they don't have a lot of big set pieces. It's kind of like the first season of The Witcher on Netflix, where they had one big monster fight, and then everything else was like very small stuff where they didn't have to have a big VFX budget, and you could tell that's why. Like the stories were all very timid. And it's like, oh, because they wanted to save money on VFX. And then second season, they went bigger and had bigger budgets. But we'll see. It might be a similar thing where most of the first season of the Fallout show is in the vaults, and they're just saving money doing that. I wouldn't blame them. See if it connects with an audience before spending all the money on it. Yeah, it seems like they have a capable team running it, which is good to see. And Triga Badass, thank you for subbing with Prime.
$5 through Super Chat. Speaking of Ella Purnell, have you seen Yellow Jackets? It is excellent, fantastic.
Oh, did it oh, when I swapped scenes, it canceled it. But yeah, I mentioned that. Thank you for that. And then as for YouTube, oh, is that the one I just read? It is. My brain is breaking. I'm sorry. I'm just slowly collapsing in on myself like a dying star. Oh yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. Sorry. I keep getting distracted. Okay. Yes, people have been asking for the Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer. Let's pull this up. Sorry. Okay, we'll actually get to it now. Dragon's Dogma 2 official release date trailer. I've not seen this. We're watching it for the first time together, okay? Buckle up, buckaroo. Let's see it.
At last! The bell has tolled on the age of the console. The return of the sovereign.
Oh, baby.
Welcome, Arisen. We pawns have long awaited your arrival.
Learn all you can of this world you must protect.
We ask that all be spared the horrors of the fell dragon.
From this moment forth, thou art arisen. Charge and all.
Looks silky smooth.
Here's my chance.
If you're discovered, yours won't be the only head that rolls. What is your purpose here?
When 'twas all but certain that her son would take his father's place, word reached the castle that the Arisen had been found.
Pitiable Arisen. Why dost thou fight?
Arisen.
You need only believe in your own destiny, Arisen.
Show me the path thou wouldst walk.
If ye intend to do what I could not, and fell the dragon true, I would gladly pass all the wisdom I possess into your hands.
March 22. Looks pretty Gucci. I'm gonna be real. Looks pretty Gucci. They've done a little bit of toss in of like gameplay and stuff, but these big encounters are what I'm all about. Like these little tidbits here. It's weirdly enough one of those games where the gameplay looks way more compelling than the narrative, for me at least. Like I get it, it's a release date trailer. They want to show some of the narrative, but for me, where this game looks to be excelling is in that gameplay department. It's just those boss fights, the big encounters look awesome. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it just me? Yeah, Dragon's Dogma is by Capcom. Yeah. They know what they're doing in terms of big action games. Tell you what. Thank you also, Style Junk, for subbing with Prime. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you. Triga Badass. Watch you on YouTube, then I realized I have Prime and I'm using it for anyone. So here to support you, favorite creator, wishing you and the family the best. Thank you, Triga. That's very sweet of you. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate you. Yeah, having the Prime, sending it this way. Appreciate you. Thank you for the Bezos money. Taking a little bit from him. He don't need it. He's fine. Appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. And yeah, shout out to everybody on Twitch who's been sending over those Prime subs. Appreciate you guys. You gotta love the Prime subs. Tell you what. Oh yeah, yeah, I got Finley back. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing for 2 weeks, but he ended up at a neighbor's house, like a couple blocks away, and he was just hanging out in their backyard, and the lady that owned the house had seen him there a couple times over the last couple days, and so she went out, grabbed him, and offered him food, and he like gobbled it up. And then she looked on the collar and texted Nikki, whose number is on the collar, and was like, I have your cat. I don't know if he's supposed to be wandering around, but he's very hungry and he's really dirty. I just wanted to see if he was lost. And we're like, yeah, we thought he was dead basically for like 2 weeks. We don't know where he's been, but she found him and took care of him. And once, we got back, because that was like the day after the swatting thing. So I had flown out of state. So basically once we got back, first chance we got, we went and got him, and he's been fine. But I don't know what he was doing for 2 weeks. I wonder if he wandered off really far and then he was making his way back home, but was hanging out at this neighbor's house while he was trying to find his way back. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's basically a Christmas miracle. I was pretty sure he was gone. I'll be real. I was pretty sure. 2 weeks. He's big, like he's really clumsy. He's also kind of an idiot. I love him to death as a cat, but he's really stupid. Like he'll just go take a nap in the middle of the road. Because he's like, well, it's black asphalt and it's warm, so I'm going to lay there and take a nap. And like, he's just stupid. So I was very worried that he had just gotten run over, but somehow he's okay. So yeah, he's upstairs sleeping right now. My cat disappeared for 3 months once, then just strolled back in like nothing happened. Yeah, cats are crazy like that, dude. They're just like, yeah, I just went on like a walkabout. I needed to discover myself. Cats are weird like that. It's just funny. Yeah, it's just, cats are weird, man. Yeah, he has been an indoor-outdoor cat, kind of doing both. But recently, after all of this, he's been an indoor cat. He hasn't wanted to go back out. I think he didn't mean to get lost like he did. And so now that he's back, I think he's like, yeah, I think I'm just going to hang out inside. And Miney also. Miney didn't recognize him though when he came back. She didn't recognize him for probably a solid week. It was pretty close to a week at least, where she just would not be near him. If he came near her, she would hiss at him and claw at him. Like, she was not having it. Just not having it at all. But now they've adjusted. I think his scent just changed while he was outside. And so when he came back, she was like, who the hell are you? Who do you think you are? I don't know. But I'm glad they're back. Get the cat chipped or a tracking collar. He is chipped. Yeah, he is chipped. I could get him a tracking collar because he's big enough to carry it. Miney is too small. Like, even an air tag on her little neck and body, it's just crazy. But yeah, maybe they broke up and she kicked him out. I love her spat. I don't know. It was kind of like that. It felt like that. It was just funny. They're just crazy. They're just crazy cats, but now they're doing okay. They're much better. But okay. So as I mentioned, we are doing the podcast today. In about half an hour, we'll be back with Jor Raptor. What we're going to do is, just because it's easier for people to watch the podcast specifically afterwards, we're going to create a separate event for the podcast. So when you go to Luke Stevens Live, it'll show up as a separate thing than this link. It'll be its own event that'll go up here in just a little bit. But in 30 minutes or 33 minutes, I guess, we'll be doing the podcast here, talking with Jor Raptor, catching up on all sorts of stuff with the show. It's going to be very good to catch up with him. and we'll do the podcast for a bit, and then we'll rock and roll. Friday, people have been asking. Friday is going to, I think, be a really fun stream because I believe as long as stuff gets delivered on time, that's the caveat. Stuff has to be delivered on time. It might not show up on time. But if stuff gets delivered on time, my plan for Friday is that we're going to try playing Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. And I also got a gadget. I got a gadget that we looked at on stream a while ago. And I hadn't really expected it, but we actually got it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I'll pull it up. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, here it is. Do you guys remember? It's loading. Do you guys remember when we looked at this? The OWO vest. It is a haptic feedback vest that syncs into games that you play. And so, like, when you get shot in the game, you feel a like bzz, a like hit on your chest. And it's supported by Assassin's Creed Mirage and other games like Fortnite and like VR games and stuff like Bone Lab and Beat Saber and stuff. And guess what? OWO sent me one. So I think we're also going to try that. If we have time on Friday, we'll try it on Friday. Otherwise, we'll wait till Monday. But apparently, like, you wear it and then you're playing Fortnite. And if you get shot in Fortnite, you're like, it's like a little stupid. So we're going to try it and see what it's like. And we'll see what happens there. But it's going to be very fun. I think Assassin's Creed Nexus, I'm kind of braced for Friday. Friday might not be a long stream because trying it, I've seen the gameplay footage of Nexus, and it's straight up Assassin's Creed in VR. Like, you do the leap of faith in VR, and I fully expect to become extremely nauseous. And so I think that'll be funny for all of you. But we'll try to do that. And then as for the vest, we'll just see how that goes. I have no idea what that's going to be like. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't opened it. I will set it up before we use this because it looks like there's a handful of like integrations and pairing and stuff you have to do to get this working. So I'll set that up beforehand. But I'm not going to play Assassin's Creed Nexus before the stream. The first time I'll try it is on stream, and we'll see what it's like. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, waiting for Luke to fall into the Hogwarts castle. Yeah. How much does it cost? I'm not actually sure. I think the vests are pretty expensive. Yeah, they're pretty expensive. So we'll see if it's as good as the price tag demands. Because I really don't know how good this thing is going to be, or if it's going to make games way more fun. Like, is this something I'm going to want to put on before playing Fortnite? Like, Rocket League? What would it even do in Rocket League? I don't even know. But we're going to try it. We'll try it. It's worst case scenario. It's just a really fun, like, weird, stupid thing. But who knows? They should make Hogwarts Legacy in VR. Oh, I bet there's got to be a mod for it, right? At this point, there's got to be a mod for it. I would think so. Someone getting nauseous in VR is not funny. That feeling is nothing to joke about. I think it could be pretty funny. It won't be funny for me, but for you, it'll be really funny. That's my feeling. That's my expectation. Oh man, there's a game called Wands in VR. I have seen that one. Oh, the gun mod in Hogwarts. Yeah, I have seen that one. Let's see. Oh, Harry Potter with guns is really funny too.
What do you think? another wand, another beginning of a bright and magical future.
That's pretty good. I just need every time you fire a shot, it to go brah, brah, brah. That's what I need. Pop, 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 pop. That's pretty good. I could see getting that mod. That'd be funny. The best one though was this. It's probably gonna get us copyright struck, but we're about to end the stream. It's okay. Hold on, where's the really good one?
I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Give me that! Don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing. The swish and flick. Everyone?
Not Leviosa. You do it then if you're so clever. Go on, go on. Wingardium Leviosa.
Oh, well done! See here, everyone. This grade has done it.
The smirk with the pinky out as she fires it. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the best.
No, I won't let you. You'll get Gryffindor into trouble again. I'll fight you.
Neville, I'm really, really sorry about this.
You're a little scary sometimes.
Just Neville, I'm really sorry about this. Pop! On the spin move back. Oh my god. Oh.
Neville, I'm really, really sorry about this.
It just works too well. It works so well, man. Oh man. Clap Neville, yeah. Oh my goodness. She popped him. Popped him good. That's what he gets for trying to interfere. But oh my god. Like I said, we're totally getting copyright struck. What I'll do, everybody, we're gonna call the stream there. I will make the event for the podcast now in 25 minutes. So go take a bathroom break, do whatever you gotta do, whatever your business is. I will grab a snack. We'll be back 25 minutes for the podcast with the one and only Joe Raptor. Stay safe if I don't see you by then. Otherwise, I'll see you back on Friday. Okay, so see you later, either 25 minutes from now or on Friday, whenever I catch you next. Thank you for all of the amazing support today, guys. You guys are wild. I love you all dearly, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Okay, much love. See you in a few.